Okay, so now we're going to go into some ideas in the Parsha with some depth. Okay, so there are a lot of ideas. This is a big Parsha for ideas. Okay, so the first one is, it says, and you should walk in his ways, meaning Hashem's ways. What's difficult about that? He's God and we're humans, which is a bit of a problem. Okay, so the concept is that we have some things in common with God. So walking in his ways is interpretable in two different things, from two different angles. The first is recognizing that we're made in Hashem's image. But it also says in the Torah, Hashem has no image. That still leaves us sort of up a tree. So the idea there, bear with me, is that the soul is of Hashem. It's expressed through the body. So if you know that the body is the soul's tools, by looking at the body, you learn something about what the soul could do. So there's a big difference between what the soul could do and what the soul is in essence. This is clear? So we're going to now go through some of the limbs and organs of the body, and we're going to talk about their spiritual parallels. Okay, clear? Okay, so we're going to take it from two different angles. The first one is we're going to look just at 7 of the divine attributes, the ones that are most easily intellectually accessible. Then we'll go to the original 3. Right hand, left hand. Suppose, God forbid, you had no hands. What would that mean you can't do?
A lot.
A lot, but let's be more specific.
Wrap things, type. If you had
Can't type, yeah.
piano.
Type. No, so typing, piano, that's all called fine motor action. This will include holding a fork, sewing, anything that requires 5 fingers. What else? What else?
Maybe play sports.
If you had no arms, okay, yeah?
Sports.
Not too many sports you could play? Okay,
And play instruments. Well, you said piano.
okay. There's also gross motor action. Gross motor action is having the strength to push something, to pull something. Okay, clear? Okay, so the right hand, by and large, for humans is stronger than the left hand. So the right hand as an instrument is described as being parallel to the trait chesed. Chesed is where, for most people, if you're saying where's spirituality, they're going to talk to you about chesed. We'll talk to you first about fine motor action, specific cheseds. Give me an example of some specific cheseds that people do.
Do charity the poor?
Giving charity. Tell me other examples.
Visiting us.
Because I'm going to run you through all of them very quickly. Okay, so the first one. Okay, the first one is receiving guests. When you receive a guest, that means you see yourself as a fellow guest in Hashem's world. He's the host, and you're receiving guests. Next, visiting the sick. When you visit the sick, what's achieved is you give them a sense of significance that was robbed by their illness. By asking them how you could help concretely, you're obviously alleviating their situation. Next, burying the dead. Since the dead aren't able to bury themselves, when you bury the dead, what are you doing? Why in no society do they just not put dead people in the dumpster and forget about it?
There's some sort of holiness to the body.
Because everybody knows that the body was the repository of the soul, whether they're conscious of it or not. We once had this really bizarre thing happen in Neve. I'm giving you no hints of the identity of the person involved. Somebody in the staff in Neve, might be an office person, might be a teacher, had, at the time, a teenage son who's like 15, which is like the age of stupidity. Okay? So they went to Har Herzl, which is like this park. You know where it is? On the way to Bayit V'Gad. So part of it's a cemetery, and part of it's just like a park. So he went with his friends one night, and they made a barbecue in the park. And then, because they're teenage boys with no brains, they were like playing in the cemetery. Okay, so they didn't know that there were security lights there. So everything they do is being seen, right? So they were playing soccer or something. Then one of them had to use the facilities, but there were no facilities because the dead don't need them, right? So he went to the side and he took care of himself. It's on film. Okay, he was arrested Okay, he happened to do this near Rabin's. Okay, so could you imagine? It was just like, it was in the papers. It was like such a humiliation. And he just was like, look, I had to go, like whatever. But that's not how anyone took it. Okay, so in his own defense, he was saying, look, you people, do you believe like in the eternity of the soul? No. It's like, if you don't think so, if you think like Rabin can't see and doesn't know, like what difference does it make? Like who did I insult, the stone marker? Like what's the problem? Did they buy this?
No.
Not at all. Because at some level, everybody believes in the eternity of the soul and everybody would see this as insulting. Okay, clear? Okay, so this is not a pleasant memory, okay? So moving on. Okay, so that's the right hand that wants to do chesed, and the arm has the force to do it. People use extraordinary energy to make good things happen. Did I tell you in this class about the be kind, pass on, like cards? 2 young men, they don't even look religious, they just got out of the army. They printed up a bunch of these cards on one side, like they're the size of playing cards. They're made out of like the same kind of paper, like stiff paper. One side has a very beautiful picture of a butterfly, and the other side says in Hebrew, be kind, pass on. So they decided to do little acts of kindness and sort of tell the other person to like, you too do something. So some of it was on film, like one of them bought a bottle of water for one of the beggars who begged like near Tachana Merkazit, who's like lying down on blankets, and it was on a hot day. Okay, and then the beggar like went and gave some of it to someone else, So this is now, it's only been like for a few weeks, it's all over the world. They get emails from India, they get it's all over. Like people have such a strong desire to do something good that it's easy. Like people want to find a reason to do it. So that's the right hand. Now the left hand does everything the right hand does, but it's just not as strong. The left hand is the spiritual trait of Gvura, wanting to be strong enough to overcome obstacles. We love overcoming obstacles. So this love of overcoming obstacles is what self-esteem is made out of. So I want you to take this as an axiom. Any act of self-discipline creates self-esteem. Because it's the voice that said, I overcame and I did it, that builds you. So this is why, they have this toy for babies. It's this hollow box with shapes cut out and blocks to put in. Yeah. It's a very sadistic toy, okay, whatever. So here they have the baby who's like maybe 2 trying to like ram the round block into the square hole, and it's like not coming, and like he's like, what? Okay, maybe throws the whole thing down a few times.
Whole life doing that.
Yes, yeah. So at some point, usually by accident, he'll get like the round peg in the round hole. So once he does that, in a relatively short time, not more than a day, he'll realize all of the pegs have different shapes, and they all go in if you find the right hole. Once he figures it out, how much longer will he like the toy?
Not much longer.
It's all over, not much longer. So the reason is what made him like the toy was overcoming something. You understand this? Overcoming the challenge that the toy presented. So we all like overcoming. So the big test in life is whether your obstacle course has meaning or not, because everybody will find an obstacle course. Give me an example of an achievement that really means something. You could look back and say, I tried, I did this, and it really means something.
4 years of practicing every day a lot to get a full scholarship to go to college.
Right. And I'll make that contingent. That's only if going to college has intrinsic value. Okay, let's say it does. Okay, let's say you're learning to be a doctor or something that will actually bring something to the world besides more money to you, which also has value. Okay, yeah? Okay, this is clear?
Yeah.
A lot of people spend their lives getting the feeling of achievement when there's no real achievement. Give me an example of the kind of achievement that really doesn't make themselves a better person or the world a better place.
Internet games.
Internet games, yes. Okay, so people, do you ever like this thing, what's it called? Pokemon. What? What is it? Pokemon, I got it right. Okay, I don't know how it is all over the world. In Israel, it's like so crazy.
It's crazy in America.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy in America? They outlawed it in the army because guys were like, abandoning their posts, walking through windows, like whatever.
How about like finishing a book? Is that a real sense of accomplishment, or?
If the book is worth reading, if it'll make you a better person, the world's a better place. There are books that are worth reading.
But is that relative to like you?
It's relative to your values, obviously.
So if I read a fiction novel, it doesn't have to be like objectively worth reading for me.
It has to be subjectively worth reading. If a fiction novel is good, it's because the characters engage you. So if this makes you a more sensitive person, then it has intrinsic value. But it's tricky because, again, remember I worked in the university. The people who are in the English department are not necessarily more sensitive than the other people, are they? They're just as competitive, they're just as so I don't know that reading a lot necessarily sensitizes you. Okay, that was very disappointing to me. Okay, whatever, yeah.
Is the argument like, this will make me more relaxed so that I can be a better person later, valid enough?
Yeah, it's valid enough. It depends on how much effort you're putting in. If you have to spend 10 years getting relaxed, maybe. It's like people who were in therapy for 25 years and say, now I know me. Okay. But that's the me I was 25 years ago. Okay, whatever. But okay, so.
You gotta start over.
Okay, next. So we have the two arms. Okay? Next we have the two legs. So the two legs, the way you walk is like this. There's always one leg ahead and one leg behind. Okay, so the two legs are what you have to put to get you moving in a direction that has meaning. The soul wants something that has meaning. The body is blind. The body just wants to go. So one of the things that's interesting to observe about humans, you could stop anyone in the street and when you say, where are you going? There's an answer. So the answer could be, I'm going for a walk, I'm going to the park, I'm going to work, but there's an answer. If a cat could talk, and you were to say, where are you going? The answer is, I'm going. Animals don't have destinations. Okay, so this that all humans want destinations is what Netzach and Hod are about. So there are two basic directions that the soul wants to go. The word Netzach means eternity. The soul wants to go towards where there's eternal value in what's being done, where you're taking yourself. So what would be an example of a person taking themselves, either literally or figuratively, towards something that has eternal value?
Kicking a drug habit.
Yeah, that definitely. Kicking a drug habit is taking you towards something eternal. Give me an example to a journey where you feel like you're going, but you're really not going anywhere. Computer games again. Yeah?
Working a 9 to 5.
Okay, yeah, or useless 9 to 5. But even that, if it's sustaining you, it has some value. Okay. I was watching, one of my grandsons was playing this computer game. I don't know what it's called, but thank God it has a 6-minute limit. Okay. So it was like some kind of war game. He was exploding tanks and whatever. And so I noticed in this game, which is it's the kind of game I think only boys would like. So nobody has faces. It was so interesting. The tanks were all exploding each other, and there were sharpshooters on the roofs who you have to blow up, but you just see their guns. You don't see a face. It was very, very interesting to me. Okay. So what? It's already 6 minutes. So what? You need to blow up more tanks? So yeah, you understand this, but it gives the feeling of moving towards something. There are all sorts of fake goals. You could see where this is so. The other leg, so one leg is Netzach, the other one is Hod, which means splendor in a spiritual sense. So we all want to go towards something that has splendor, that has beauty to it. Okay, clear? Okay, next. Okay, the next is the actual feet on the bottom of the legs, okay? Okay, so the feet give a finer edge to walking. The feet reflect your will, your desire, everyone's desire, to take over. I want to go where I want to go. So your sense of a personal destiny is also a spiritual thing. Then we have the chest. Okay, so the chest is where the heart is. The heart is always used as an allegory for the seat of emotions. Why do you think in many societies they do that? What does the heart have to do with emotion? Whatever it says, my liver, I'll keep you in my liver forever. Okay, or send people like little cards in February with pictures of livers, saying, okay, yes, you know. What is there about the heart's function that makes people associate it with? It gives life to the whole body. So similarly, in the end, for everybody, the emotions are the captain of the ship. Where you want to go and what you want to do. It's all where your passions lie. That makes sense to you? Yeah?
So this Parshat is a lot about curses, and this is a little bit tangential, but is this like some sort of ominous week to take big risks, or am I like reading too superficially into it?
No, rather than saying, gosh, this is curse week, maybe I made it, it's not like such a great week for bungee jumping. It's more, wow, Rosh Hashanah this always has to come 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is coming up. It's up to me whether I'm going to be a person who's cursed or a person who's blessed. Gosh, I have 2 weeks to think through my whole life and change. Well, yeah, I'd better do that this week. You know, don't want to be caught, like with nothing. Okay, yeah, it's more that. Which we'll talk about. That's like tomorrow's topic. Okay, I have you?
Yes.
Okay, so the heart's the captain. The heart has to listen to the mind. The mind is the navigator. So the mind itself has 3 aspects. So the 3 aspects which on the physical body, all of these are mamash like the body. The head, the skull has 3 layers. Did you know this? Like there's the skeleton, and there's the metadura and the inner dura. Okay, so the idea there is that conscious thought has 3 stages. The first is observation. Something grabs you, or someone tells you something. Then there's understanding. And finally, there's drawing a conclusion. So the 3 stages are knowing, which is like seeing something that grabs you, understanding, and drawing a conclusion. So the act of seeing something, I want you to realize our minds are so fast, we can't see something without interpreting it. Do you realize that? So you look at a person, your mind, which is so fast, already not only recognizes this as a person or a woman, but has already compared the face you're seeing to every other face you've ever seen. Isn't that amazing? It's mind-boggling. So the first stage, which is called Chachma, is very abstract and very hard to get a finger on because we already interpret. Understanding has 3 phases that are parallel to the 3 phases of understanding anything when you're looking at it from the perspective of something material, something spatial. There's height, breadth, and depth. So height is, where is this going? So when you want to understand something, you have to ask, where is this going? Where did it come from? The next is breadth. What are all the components? Do I see the whole picture? And the next is depth. What does it really mean? So there's height, breadth, and depth. Okay? The last phase is drawing a conclusion. A conclusion means you now have the fully formed idea and you can connect it to everything else. So a conclusion will connect the idea to reality. So the word for drawing the conclusions is lada'at, to know. The first place it's used in Torah is it says, V'yada Adam et Chava ishto. Adam knew his wife Chava, which was carnal knowledge. But in context, it means he knew her, and then he knew her. Okay, clear? Okay, so that's what makes you a person who's similar to Hashem, these 10 traits. The 3 of your mind and the 7 that come forth from your heart. Then you have your core, which I left out, oops. So the whole genital area is your core, your desire for future, which also humans are much more concerned about than anybody else.